Welcome to Manifesting a Life. And sometimes our emotions really kick in and we get real intense about something. Well, where I grew up, just south of Houston, we had a neighbor and they had a boy that was about 2 years younger than me. And this boy, who's I guess now I'm almost my age, was really into anything having to do with water. You know, fishing, aquariums, boats, skiing, any kind of boat. Just, he always wanted to be out on the water and he loved the water. So when he got older, he went to school in North Carolina to learn how to build boats. While he was there, he bought a boat, a big sailboat type of boat. And him and his girlfriend were going to sell it around Florida and over to Galveston. So he told his mom to expect him in about 5 days to a week. And so they took off. Well, a week passed and his mom had not heard anything from him. Going well into 2 weeks, she was starting to get worried. So she called the Coast Guard to let them know what was going on and to keep an eye out for him. My mom called me to let me know what was going on, that Rod was missing and that they were out in the ocean somewhere. Didn't know where. Nobody had heard anything from him. And his mom was really concerned. And I was really concerned. I was real worried about him. So I took off in my car to be alone because I wanted to get away from my roommates. I wanted to have some time to pray, just pray real hard about this. So I went out in the car, drove around the countryside there and just crying and praying and for his safety and his girlfriend's safety. I just wanted them to be safe and to get back safely. Well, the emotion finally ran out and I felt spent and I went back home. About 3 days later, my mom heard that he had called his mom and they had broken up on the rocks outside of Bolivar Peninsula and they had to swim for shore. But then he called her. So she went down and picked him up. And that's when I finally heard the rest of the story. They had a metal gas can in their boat and it had become magnetized and it was close to the compass and it was affecting the compass reading. And so they were totally off. And when they finally realized what was going on, they weren't too sure where they were at all. And so they tried to flag down a couple of boats and ships in the area and the people just waved back, and keep going. And, they were running out of fuel. Luckily, it was a sailboat, so they could use the sails. But, that only works when the wind's blowing. And they did finally figure out kind of where they were. They didn't quite make it to Galveston, though. They got over close to the coast, and then they ended up hitting the rocks, and it broke up. And then they were told, after they got to shore and everything, that the Coast Guard told them, you had to clean these pieces up. Insult to injury. So he had to go back and pick up all the pieces of his poor broken ship, broken boat. So what did I manifest? The safe return of Rod and his girlfriend. How did I manifest this? Through intense prayer. Now, I prayed for the safety of Rod and his girlfriend. I did not pray for the safety of the boat. So, they came to shore safely. They had to swim, but they came and they were okay. But the boat was broken up. The boat was demolished. So be specific in your prayers. What do you want? If I'd prayed for also this boat to get there safely with them in it, that might have been a different outcome. Also, I think I have mentioned before that I have heard that a mother's prayer is often answered. It's heard and it's answered. And I believe that's because a mother's prayer is an intense prayer. It's usually for a child. And I know that his mom was really praying for him, and my mom was praying for him, and I was praying for him. And I believe that the intensity does have an action. It shows that you are really concerned. You have that emotional investment in it. As a side note, Rod and his wife The same girl. I've been living on a boat out in the Caribbean for years. That's his house. So I want to know, have you ever had an intense prayer answered? So please leave that in the comments. And also, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and the like button. Lets me know you want to hear more of these stories. And until next time, go out and manifest your life.